Hello everyone and welcome to season number 7, where UConn takes on the task of trying to repeat their national championship run. This UConn team is of course coming off of a national championship victory, but comes in with a lot of question marks specifically on the defensive side of the ball. They graduated 9 seniors on the defense, 8 of which were starters and 7 of which went pro. It's time for the junior Dennis Colin to take over as the main man on the defense, and I think he is more than ready. The biggest question mark on this team this season, though, is cornerback. After graduating 3 seniors from the position, it is an entirely new starting unit with only one familiar face returning in Randy Radovich. The rest of them are redshirt freshmen and have a lot to prove this season. Will the pass rush be able to look the same with D'Angelo Townsend and Johnny McNulty graduating? Kevin October and Darren Michelle will have to pick up that slack. And for the past several seasons, we have had an elite secondary sub linebacker, and this is the first season where that changes. Previously, it was Raheem Lovelace and Joey Terrell, and then Joey Terrell and Addison Biggs, and now it's Dennis Colin and Nick Alonzo. Not that Nick Alonzo can't play well, he just isn't Joey Terrell or Addison Biggs. And in fact, he may lose his position to David Sun, who isn't as good of an athlete, but is much better at the intangibles. The offense stays mostly the same this year, but there has been the emergence of the redshirt freshman Kareem Ursua, who will be sort of filling that Dorian Tobin role for this team, where he will play as a halfback and as a receiver for a good chunk of the season. Kareem is not nearly as fast as Dorian Tobin was, but he does have better skills with better route running and better hands, including a catch in traffic rating that is 93, one of the best on the team. And speaking of halfbacks, the offensive captain for this season is going to be the senior Max Cadet. Today, UConn faces off against the UMass Minutemen, one of the few rivals in this series, and the only team that was able to best them all of last season on UConn's march to a national championship. They're bringing back basically the same roster, quarterbacked by Jeremiah Dickerson, but their best player is easily the senior halfback, Elijah Bjornson. And at wide receiver, it's mostly the same players we saw last year, but with the addition of redshirt freshman Emmanuel Poole. It is by no means an elite roster. It's an okay one with a decent offensive line, but it's basically the exact same team that beat us last season, and our defense is probably a little bit worse than the one that this UMass offense faced last season. UConn today looks to defeat a rival who has had their number in the past and currently leads the all-time series versus them, the UMass Minutemen. They're always a tough out. Tyreek Hollis will kick us off, and we are underway in year number 7. This is deep in the end zone. They will take a knee, and that is where Jeremiah Dickerson and this UMass offense will take the field. And like I mentioned, they are 39 and 38 in the all-time series. So basically a brand new defensive unit in a lot of ways. 8 new starters this season. Let's see how the team performs as Dickerson will throw, and a spin move hit by the wide receiver Emmanuel Poole. That is the freshman. His first reception on the season goes for a first. This is an offense that was more than capable against us last season, as Bjornson will get his first carry, and it's a good one, going for another first down, and they're already into UConn territory. Not a great look so far for the new UConn defense. 1st and 10 as Clyde Novak is in the backfield immediately, basically untouched, and it's a loss of 5 for Jeremiah Dickerson. There's a chance you see a lot more man coverage this season, as our corners very much lean in the man coverage department, as that one is forced incomplete by the wide receiver turned corner Alex Fayyad. If you didn't see it, Alex Fayyad took a 22 overall jump after switching to corner in the offseason. 3rd and 15, a deep shot sent down the field, swatted away by the new CB1. That's Athea Ndukwe swatting that one down. 4th and 15, and the defense holds strong in the middle of the field. And out onto the field comes the UConn Huskies offense for the first time this season. A very similar unit to the one you saw last year, but no Terry Overhauser, no Dorian Tobin, and a new tight end in Juan Beaver. On this play, it's Kareem Ursua in the backfield. He will get the first carry on the season, and it's a pretty decent one. It's a triple tight end set for UConn on second down, and Pelshak will look to throw, and he gets this one to Juan Beaver, the new tight end, one for a first. Still Ursua in the backfield, no Cadet to this point. Ursua to the outside, finding a running lane. Kareem Ursua down at the 50 with another first. Ursua does not bring a lot of speed to the table, but he's very shifty, having a very high juke move rating. On 1st and 10, Pelshak throws left side. That's completed to Tevin Madu for a first down. And now the captain, Max Cadet, in the backfield on first down at the 39. He will get this carry up the middle, spinning and falling forward for 4. 2nd and 6. Pelshak to throw, waiting for Schmizniak to get open, and he does. Dalton Schmizniak makes a move, goes down basically right on the 10, and this UConn offense is on the move. Basically, goal to go for the Huskies. Cadet getting the carry up the middle. Max Cadet running over one defender. He's down at the 2. On 2nd and 1, Ursua in at fullback. I formation. Cadet will get the carry. Max Cadet is stuffed at the goal line. It is 3rd and inches at the 1. Needing less than a yard for a first and less than a yard for the end zone. Pelshak hands Cadet, and the first score of the year for UConn goes to the senior halfback, Max Cadet. He was a touchdown fiend last season, picking up where he left off this one. UConn takes the lead 6-0 in the first. First down, UMass, they take back over now in a 7-point deficit. Dickerson downfield, finding his target. It's Emmanuel Poole shaking off the Ndukwe tackle, and he's up to the UConn 42. Looks like they like Emmanuel Poole here in Massachusetts. It's another 1st and 10. Bjornsson, the fake handoff, and then over the middle, crushed by Parker Sims. That is incomplete. Brings up a 2nd down and 10. 4 minutes left to play here in the first. Bjornsson will get a carry. Jukes back to avoid Nick Alonso. There's a flag down. Radovich makes the tackle, but there is going to be a holding penalty on the opposite side of the field. Just no need to hold over there. And excuse me, it was not a holding penalty. It was an illegal block in the back. Still a first down for UMass, but at the 31. As Dickerson throws left side, Bjornsson makes the grab. Alonso not fast enough, and Bjornsson forced out of bounds at the 6. A really nice second drive for UMass as they have quickly found themselves with goal to go. Bringing a man in motion. That is Emmanuel Poole, but it's a handoff to Bjornsson, and he can't get past Dennis Colin. Now 2nd down, goal to go. From the 4, Dickerson throwing quickly. That is completed to Emmanuel Poole for 6. The first touchdown of the season for the freshman wideout, and Atia Ndukwe could not keep up. So if our DBs are getting carved up by a freshman receiver at the University of Massachusetts, just imagine how it's going to be next week against Georgia. 1st and 10 UConn as they take over on offense. Pelshak back to pass, and he throws for Tevin Madu, who makes a 4-yard pickup. Pelshak will hand to Ursua up the middle. Only 3 yards there for him. 3rd and 3, Max Cadet in the game. Pelshak throws on the RPO for Jeffrey Ritchie, though. Running room for Ritchie, and he's up to the 50 where he's pushed out of bounds. This offense, lacking Dorian Tobin, no longer has that super high-end speedster anymore. Closest we have to that is Daryl Skaggs, but he does not play too much, lacking the skills needed to be a starter, as Tevin Madu on the jet touch pass will pick up 8. 2nd and 2 as we rapidly approach the end of the first. Cadet on a carry up the middle and getting that first down pretty easily. Second quarter underway. It's a 1st and 10 for the Huskies as Ursua gets another carry and some more good running lanes for Kareem Ursua. Nearly 10 yards per carry right now for Kareem Ursua. As on 2nd and 2, Cadet checks in. He will get a carry. There is a flag down near immediately, and that is going to be a holding penalty on Manny Smith. Scratch that. It was a holding penalty on the new center, Bryce Suttle, making it a 2nd and 11. Ursua checks back in. He gets the carry this time. Really good tackle from the UMass defender. That makes it a 3rd down and 6 as Pelshak will look to throw. He wants Dalton Schmizniak, rifles it in there just to the side of the linebacker, and that's a 1st and 10. UConn in the red zone once again. 1st and 10 from the 18. Pelshak back to pass. He wants end zone. Dalton Schmizniak gets intercepted at the 1 where the UMass defender steps out of bounds. The first pick on the season for John Pelshak. UMass takes over at their own 1-yard line, an underthrow in the direction of Dalton Schmizniak. But now they have to be extremely careful. They are inside their own 1 after the pick. Handoff up the middle. Bjornsson gets a tiny bit more breathing room. So now they're at the 2, 2nd and 8. Dickerson hands off Bjornsson again, still in the end zone, but he breaks this to the outside with a burst of speed. Elijah Bjornsson past the 50 to the 40. I don't think anyone's going to catch him to the 10. It's a 98-yard rushing touchdown for Elijah Bjornsson. Getting past everybody, nobody set the edge, nobody contained, and UMass will take a touchdown lead here in the first half. What is up with UConn, the number 1 team in the country, the national championship winners? They just can't compete against one of their biggest rivals. So the interception, despite putting UMass at the 1, actually does come back to haunt John Pelshak. And now they're down a touchdown as Cadet gets the carry and gets 6. The running game to this point has been really good, and the passing game, other than the interception, of course, was working really well also, as Ursua will pick up a 1st. From the 35, Pelshak to throw, and he wants Ritchie this time and finds him. It looked like he dropped it. I think he just released it after stepping out of bounds. It is a 1st. I didn't think he had completed the process of the catch, but evidently he had. 7 minutes left to play in the half. 1st and 10 at the UMass 48 as Ursua gets a carry, and that's probably his worst one of the day, and it still goes for 4. 3rd and 6. Pelshak will throw, and finding his man, he slides down short of the marker. Jeffrey Ritchie deciding to go down, and now it's a 4th and 1. UConn's offense is staying on the field. 1 yard to go out of the I formation. They'll hand it to Max Cadet, and the power back will get it done, but there is a flag down, and it's a penalty on Manny Smith. A holding penalty backs up the Huskies, and now it's 4th and 11. And what was a conversion in a 1st is now a punt away. UMass with all the momentum now after the Manny Smith holding penalty after the interception. The 98-yard run for Bjornsson. This time he's not going anywhere, as Dennis Colin is in the backfield immediately. Look at that stat line, though. 4 rushes for 115 for Bjornsson. Disgusting. 2nd and 11 as Bjornsson, another carry to the outside. The blocking's really good, but evidently it's a little too good as there's a flag down, and Bjornsson goes out at the 50, but this one is coming back. 2nd and 15 after the holding penalty, erasing another good run for Bjornsson. Dickerson will look to throw this time, finds a man over the middle. Randy Radovich and Joshua Dora bring him down at his 3rd and 7. From their own 20 would be a big stop for the UConn defense. Dickerson hit as he throws by Clyde Novak. It falls incomplete, and the defense does make a stand. 1st and 10 Huskies offense looking to get on the board before halftime. Pelshak sees his favorite man, Dalton Schmizniak, down the field. He's wide open, and it's a touchdown for the Huskies wide out. Dalton Schmizniak, one-on-one coverage. All you have to do, watch the high safety. He came down on a blitz, and it was Dalton by himself. Touchdown Huskies. They'll tie this one up. So a quick strike for UConn leaves 4 minutes for UMass to try to get that lead back. Bjornsson has been the biggest issue easily for this defense so far today. Down goes Dickerson. It's Dennis Colin and Clyde Novak with the pressure and the sack. 2nd and 17. I am not joking when I say that Dennis Colin may very well be the best linebacker UConn has ever had, and we've had some elite ones. There he is again. He is everywhere. There's a flag down. That is a holding penalty. We're going to decline that. Makes it a 3rd and 20 from their own 5. Dickerson running out of time, and Adonis Keogh, the sack leader from last season, gets his 1st on the year this one. Adonis, now a junior, that is his 30th career sack. And now UMass will have to punt it away from out of their own end zone. I never, ever commentate punt returns, so I think you know what's about to happen. Daryl Skaggs is taking over the return duties this season. He has very good speed, hits a nasty juke move to start, a spin move to break out of another, but then fumbles the football and it's recovered by the Minutemen. You cannot make this up. Things just go UMass's way when they play against UConn. They take over near midfield. So an elite stand by the defense, just absolutely wiped out due to the fumble from Skaggs. And Bjornsson now gets a carry to the outside. Another flag is down. This offense, and specifically this receiver, Lewis Cameron, cannot stop holding. I think that is Cameron's third penalty in the game. It's still only the first half, 3 minutes to go. As Dickerson hands off, Bjornsson, met by a couple defenders, shakes them off. But Joshua Dora comes over to make the tackle. Now a 2nd and 9 after the 1-yard pickup for the halfback. He will get a carry again, but Clyde Novak, the big man in the middle, the TFL, a loss of a yard, and it's 3rd and long. 10 yards to the marker for UMass. Quick throw, and that is completed to Emmanuel Poole, and Atia Ndukwe is having troubles with him. 1st and 10 at the 39. Dickerson with plenty of time, finding his tight end this time. That is caught. Actually, that is TJ Sawyer. Now a 2nd down and 1. Blitz on its way. Quick throw to Emmanuel Poole, and Ndukwe gets beat again, and it's 6 for Emmanuel Poole, his 2nd touchdown on the day. And I told you these corners might be an issue. Ndukwe, one of our best man specialists, but getting killed by a freshman receiver so far today. There's a minute left in the second, and UMass has the lead. And might I remind you, UConn would have had the football if it weren't for the Daryl Skaggs fumble. It has never been and likely will never be easy against this UMass team. They play us tough every single time. Pelshak back to pass. He wants his tight end. Actually, that's Tevin Madu out of the slot. Excuse me. Thought that was Juan Beaver. I'm used to the tight end coming out of the slot there. Instead, it is Tevin Madu with a big pickup to the 45. On 1st down, Pelshak back to pass again. David Gastineau has found his way into the game, and he makes a grab for a pickup of 5, and UConn will hurry it up. 2nd down to throw is Pelshak. He wants Schmizniak swatted out of his hands and incomplete. So now it is a 3rd and 5, empty set for John as he throws quickly for Dalton. 4th and inches at the 45. Do we go for it here? I don't know that we do. We're just going to let the clock hit 0 and go to halftime. UConn down a score to UMass. For some reason, they can beat everyone else in the country, but UMass is too good against them in particular, as the clock will hit 0 and we head to the half. UConn will start with the football, hopefully going to tie this game up. Can't help but feel like the Daryl Skaggs fumble completely shifted the tide of this one. It was a huge defensive stop. UConn was going to get the ball before half. It likely would have been 21-14 the other way without that fumble. Obviously can't assume that we would have scored, but the offense has been operating pretty well today. Now instead we're down a score and we're in the second half already. From the 30, Cadet still the back. He will get another good carry. Max Cadet with good speed past the 50 and up to the 40 where he's dragged down. 1st and 10, a big pickup for Max Cadet. Empty set Pelshak. He will look to throw. He's got Juan Beaver wide open to the right, and he'll take that free 6 yards. Ursua in the backfield. He will get the carry. Good running room for Kareem Ursua. Stiff-arming one, still on his feet. Ursua not wanting to go down, doing his best Max Cadet impression. It has truly been no issue getting this offense into the red zone so far this game. Max Cadet on a carry, good blocking. Cadet end zone, touchdown UConn. The 2nd one on the day for the captain, the little soldier boy, Max Cadet. 21-21 is your score. First time we're seeing the UMass offense here in the second half, and it's a fake, and not falling for it is Nate Putu, trying to prove that he deserves a starting role. That's a pretty good play to make. 2nd and 10 after the good tackle from Putu. Bjornsson getting a carry, good blocking, broken tackle, and a pickup of 9. So it's a 3rd and 1, less than 1 even, for the Minutemen. And a really good tackle from Joshua Dora forces a 4th and inches. And from this spot on the field, UMass isn't going to risk going for it. What a play from Dora. New possession for UConn, and it starts empty for Pelshak as Jeffrey Ritchie comes over in motion, and he's swallowed up behind the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 15 after the huge loss over the middle. Tevin Madu holds on through the contact. It's a 3rd and 9. 3rd and a long ways to go for Pelshak and the offense. He wants Juan Beaver, but he's hit as he throws. It falls incomplete, and UConn goes 3 and out. UMass starting at their own 26 this time from the right hash as Dickerson brings a man in motion, and then we'll hand off Bjornsson. Really good blocking again, but once again it's too good. And don't tell me it's the same receiver. It is. They need to bench this kid. It's a block in the back from Lewis Cameron. That is probably at least the 5th penalty on Cameron in blocking. So they'll hand off Bjornsson again. Another flag is down. Don't tell me. It's not. It is finally not the same kid. Went from a 1st and 4 to a 1st and 14. Handoff Bjornsson. They're still going to the ground, and Nick Alonso will make the tackle to force a 2nd and 9. Empty set for Dickerson. 2nd and 9 from the 27, and he throws quickly, swatted down by Ndukwe, not letting Poole get the best of him this time. 3rd and 9. Still empty for Dickerson. Only one man to the right. That is Emmanuel Poole. He's got all kinds of time to throw, literally all day, but it runs out. Good coverage down the field allows for Kevin October to get the tackle, and it's a 4th and 10. UMass punts again. A really poor kick from the UMass punter, and UConn has really good starting field position. 1st and 10 from the 44. Ursua the back. Ursua gets the carry and gets 6. 1st and 10 UConn. Dalton Schmizniak by himself in one-on-one coverage. The safety actually made a really good play, and it's incomplete. 2nd down for the UConn offense as Ursua gets another carry and only gets 5. Did not quite have the burst through the lane we would have liked. So a 3rd down situation for the Huskies as we look to throw. Scrambling is Pelshak. He's not that slow. He is short of the yard to gain. 4th and 1. We could attempt a long kick, or we could go for it. Staying on the field is the UConn offense. It is slightly more than a yard to go. Pelshak and Cadet, the ones in the backfield. And Max Cadet will get the handoff, and he does get the first, though not by much. 2 minutes to go in the 3rd. It's a 2nd and 6 as Cadet gets a carry up the middle. There's nobody there but the ref, and it's another rushing touchdown for Max Cadet. His 3rd on the day. Max Cadet in his senior season so far is unstoppable. He's not containable. It's 6 more for UConn, and after the PAT, we'll be up a clean touchdown. 28-21. We approach the end of the 3rd. UMass back on offense. Bjornsson getting a carry to the outside. Flag is down. He's broken 2 tackles and he still tiptoes the sideline, but another receiver with another holding penalty. I don't know what is happening with this UMass blocking game, but they are doing nothing but holding, specifically the receivers. The penalty slider's unchanged from last season, so I am not entirely sure what's going on with this UMass blocking as they just continue to get hold after hold, and it is killing them in this second half. 2nd and 13 from their own 13, and it's a fake handoff. Dickerson breaks out of the tackle and is able to throw it away. Adonis Keogh had him dead in the backfield, could not bring him down. 3rd and 13, Dickerson to pass. He's got plenty of time this time, and he's heaving one deep down the field for Emmanuel Poole, and it's swatted away by Ndukwe. And excuse me, that was Lewis Cameron he was looking for. It was a little underthrown. Cameron did have a step on Ndukwe. If that is a perfect ball, that might be 6. UConn appearing to be in full control here in the second half. And the ground game has been cooking all day. Cadet on a carry. There is a flag down, and I got to imagine that's a holding, and it's on Manny Smith. So we'll try again. This time it's 1st and 20. Setting up a screen for Kareem Ursua. Needs to make one man miss. He can't do it. Look at all the green in front of Ursua. if he could have just broken that one tackle. A missed opportunity. 2nd and 19, Pelshak will be back to pass, and he's stepping up. Wanted Dalton Schmizniak. He fumbles the football. It's still on the ground, and it's recovered by the Minutemen, and John Pelshak is injured on the play. We allowed Calvin Plummer to walk, so our backup is Lawrence Rogan. Hopefully the injury for Pelshak is not too serious. UMass, though, now basically in the red zone on the UConn side of the field. 1st and 10 from the 22. They could tie it with a touchdown, as this one going nowhere. It's fumbled the other way, but UMass recovers. There is another holding penalty, though. In all the commotion, I did not see the penalty, and it's going to be a 1st and 20. Pelshak bruised ribs. So early in the season, we're going to sub in the backup. If this were later in the year, of course, Pelshak would absolutely be coming back in. Don't want to risk further injury if we don't have to. We do have the lead here against the Minutemen, as taking off is Dickerson and sliding down in front of Dennis Cole, and it's 2nd and 15. From the 27, 2nd and long, 10 minutes left to play in the game. It's a fake to Bjornsson, and then Dickerson takes the check down, and Parker Sims can't make the tackle. David Sun has to. It's 3rd and 8. From the 21, a 3rd down and 8, Dickerson. Time to throw, throwing right side. That is completed to Lewis Cameron at the 1 in front of the wide receiver corner convert. That is Alex Fayyad. 1st and goal at the half-yard line for the Minutemen. Can't help but think that this ball is going to Bjornsson, and it does, but we are right there with the goal line defense. 2nd and goal, as it's a true 1 yard now. Dickerson to throw, runs out of time. Adonis Keogh gets another sack, and it's 3rd and goal at the 5. 3rd and goal to throw, Dickerson, and it is short of the goal line, and Dukeway making a big-time tackle, but UMass is lining up to go for this. 4th and goal from the 1. This is a big-time play coming up. It's a toss to the outside, and we're in the backfield with David Sun forcing the turnover on downs. David Sun, he's not a starter, but he wants to be, and he made a couple big tackles on that drive. We are not safe yet, however. Pelshak is in the game. 1st and 10 from the 2. Need to get out of our own end zone, as Cadet will get the carry. Gives us a little more breathing room. Cadet never wants to go down. A pickup of 6. This will likely be a run-heavy drive, not only to chew clock, but to give Pelshak hopefully some time to start feeling a little bit better. Could always substitute in Rogan, but if Pelshak feels he can play, we're going to let the kid play, as Kareem Ursua gets a carry and goes down at the 17. 1st and 10. Pelshak brings Ursua in motion. It's a jet touch pass for the redshirt freshman, as he finds some open field and wisely stays in bounds at the 32. Now the tight end Juan Beaver in the backfield. 1st and 10 as Cadet will get a carry, and it's, I think, his first carry for a loss on the day. 5.5 to play in the game. 2nd and 12 as Ursua goes up the middle and makes it a 3rd and 8. From the 34, this is a big 3rd down situation. Pelshak throwing one downfield, and it's underthrown for Schmizniak, who had the step. Pelshak maybe not 100% there. Misses what is usually an automatic throw to Dalton Schmizniak for him. 4th and 8, we have to punt. Only the touchdown lead still for the UConn Huskies. 4.5 left to play, as UMass looks to tie this game up. Bjornsson on the carry, and it's another good one for him as he's pushed out of bounds at the 33. I've noticed that the tackling has not been good for this new look defense for the Huskies. Quick throw, it's in the air, nearly a scary one for Jeremiah Dickerson. 2nd down from the 33. Dickerson to pass, and over the middle, incomplete, nearly picked by the defensive lineman Clyde Novak. And this is a big 3rd down and 10 here. Dickerson, time to throw. Really good pocket for Jeremiah Dickerson. A broken tackle. Emmanuel Poole gets the first, and Ndukwe is not looking good in his first performance as a starter. And I will remind you, this is a 75 overall freshman burning Ndukwe like this. It's not looking great for the kid who is just a freshman himself, as that is knocked out by Nick Alonzo. 2nd and 10 from the 48. Dickerson Throwing, that is completed, and being tackled forward is the wideout. It's a 1st and 10 at the 37. It almost feels inevitable that they're going to score a touchdown on this drive. 3.5 left to play. Dickerson hands off Bjornsson, burst of speed to the outside. Another flag is down for UMass, and it's holding or a block in the back again. This team is getting eaten alive by their own mistakes. Dickerson throws left side, that is completed in front of Parker Sims for another first. 3 minutes to go, less than that, as now 1st and 10 from the 20. Dickerson back to pass, right side, it is completed to Cameron, and Dennis Colin can't bring him down. Touchdown Minutemen, and with the PAT, this game's gonna be tied at 28. Why is it that UConn just cannot seem to put UMass away ever? This football game is gonna be tied up once again. Pelshak gets to go on a potential game-winning drive. Well, here we go. It seems Pelshak is back to 100%. 1st and 10 from the 23. In an ideal world, UMass will not see the football again as Cadet plows over one of the DBs. 2-minute timeout. 2 minutes left for UConn to try to take a victory here, as this is thrown over the middle for Kareem Ursua, and he does hold on to that. A bit of a risky throw from Pelshak. Down to 1.5 minutes left to play. Quick throw for Schmizniak, and he does hold on, and we are quickly approaching Tyreek Hollis field goal range. 1st and 10 of the 41, Pelshak to pass. Blitz on its way, gets this off to Dalton Schmizniak, who makes another grab, and a timeout is called by the Minutemen. You gotta love the grit from John Pelshak, not letting the injury, the bruised ribs, take him out of this one. And now he's got his team in prime position to walk away with a slim victory over a team we really should be crushing. UMass using those timeouts. It's a 2nd and 6. Cadet close to a first. They'll use the last timeout. 3rd and 2. A first down could ice the game here. Of course, the football goes Max Cadet's way. Max Cadet to the outside. Nearly a 4th touchdown for him. He's dragged down from behind at the 6. And that's probably for the best, as it allows us to chew even more clock. In an ideal scenario, we do not score a touchdown here. We'd like to just continue chewing the clock. 1st and goal from the 6. Ursua going to get a carry and just going to hold on to the football, center it a little bit more. And with 2 seconds left, out comes the kicker, Tyreek Hollis, to kick a chip shot game winner. That kick on its way, and it is through. And the UConn Huskies, despite their best efforts to lose against UMass once again, will walk away victorious. The clock hits 0 off of that kick, and 31-28 is your final. 3 touchdowns on the day for Max Cadet. Fully anticipate he will be the player of the game and likely the offensive player of the week in the country. UConn ties up the series at 40 wins apiece. That said, it was our 40th series win. I believe it's actually 39-39. Either way, it's very tight between UMass and UConn. And for some reason, man, this team, even though they are way worse than us on paper, they continue to give us issues. If we take a look at stats, I mean, apparently we led in basically every department other than turnovers, where we were -3. Which is obviously going to be an issue in the future if that continues to happen. Pelshak lost a fumble. Of course, Daryl Skaggs lost a fumble, and Pelshak threw that interception. Definitely not going to do very well against better opponents with a negative turnover differential. If we take a look at player stats, 290, a touchdown and a pick for John Pelshak. One of his most efficient days in terms of pure completion percentage, as he really didn't have any issues with accuracy. If you watch the offseason video, you know that both of his short and medium accuracies are in the mid to high 90s, and that he will consistently not have any type of issue making those types of throws. In the rushing game, Max freaking Cadet, man, 17 for 141, 3 touchdowns, 2 broken tackles. What an absolute monster this kid is going into his senior season. Gotta hope that he'll find his way onto the Heisman watch board. And Ursua was impressive as well. 15 attempts for 99 yards. No touchdowns for him though, as Cadet is the main goal line entity. touchdown getting back. Also, I was workshopping that little Soldier Boy nickname for him. Let me know what you think. Maybe we just call him Soldier Boy. He's not little, 6 foot 230. Like, he's a pretty big dude for a halfback, but Cadet, little Soldier Boy, you know, thought it made sense. In the receiving game, Dalton Schmizniak was the #1 guy, 6 for 142 and a touchdown. Love that for him. 5 catches and about 45 for Madu and Richie. And then Ursua used a little bit in the passing game as well. Juan Beaver, a couple grabs, and Gastineau even found his way onto the field for a catch. Defensively, Alex Fiad actually led in solo tackles along with Dora with 4. And Dora led in total tackles with 8. Clyde Novak, 5 TFLs. Maybe we're going to see a career year for Clyde in his final season. He had a sack and a half along with Keo and October, each with a sack and a half, and then Dennis Colin, of course, getting a half a sack as well. And no interceptions, no turnovers for the team, though we did force a fumble, although that is not reflected here. I guess it's only reflected if we actually recover it. But man, it is hard to beat UMass. I am not intentionally playing bad or playing soft against the Minutemen. The settings are the same as they always are, and for whatever reason, maybe because it's a rivalry, UMass just plays us close every time. And man, we need to talk about the cornerbacks because Ndukwe got killed by Emmanuel Poole today, and I'm not sure if he can be a starter. But there you have it, first game of the season in the books for the UConn Huskies, 1-0 already on the year, and this is the only team we lost to last season, so it is technically an improvement, even though it doesn't actually feel like that good of a win. And I hope they're warmed up because the next game is a rematch of the Natty against the Georgia Bulldogs. Before we advance, let's go ahead and look at scouting. For those of you that didn't watch the end of the offseason video, we do only have 11 seniors graduating. I do sort of anticipate there may be 1 or 2 guys that go pro as well. I think Dennis Colin could easily declare for the draft and would likely be a very high pick. If he does, middle linebacker will obviously be a need. Guys like Adonis Keogh, maybe John Pelshak, I absolutely think. And honestly, maybe even Kareem Ursua will decide to go pro after having such a huge jump in this offseason. So I'm looking to get probably somewhere in the range of 15 to 20 guys. And right now on the board, we have 18. Biggest needs being quarterback, halfback, wide receiver, tackle, defensive line, outside linebackers, and strong safeties. Our #1 target this year is the number 13 player in the country. That's Anferny Cantrell. He is a 5-star gem out of Red Oak, Texas. He's got really impressive abilities. Looks like a guy that could even be sort of a day 1 starter. Obviously, we have really good guys as edge rushers and young guys coming up as well, but it doesn't hurt to keep that train going. We want to have a good defensive line always. Next guy is the #1 safety in the country and the #3 player in the nation, Taylor Thrasher. But currently, we are far behind Oregon and Georgia, who are 1st and 2nd, but he looks like a really good run support safety. And another safety on the board is Heath Muller. Unlike Thrasher, we are 1st on his board. He is the 2nd best safety in this class. There's tackle Raheem Hacker. He reads to me a bit more as an interior lineman, but still need tackles. Dennis Blade is a elusive back athlete that I would hope to get. He's not particularly fast, but he does have the sidestep and 360 abilities with high agility. Khalil Rabe is an outside linebacker that would be moved to defensive end if we were to get him, and he looks really exciting with that platinum quick jump. Wide receiver isn't a huge need considering all the depth we have, though it does tell us that we need to get 2, and my favorite one is Lewis Norden, who has 98 speed and would look to hopefully be our new Dorian Tobin type of player. Another edge rusher in Kevin Casevaharn, and a D-tackle in Madison Steiner, where we are gaining ground very quickly. Byron Harper looks to be a pretty good middle linebacker, very prototypical of a UConn middle linebacker, fast with good coverage. Same with Tyree Welsh, and now we're into the 4-stars. He is a gem. And then there is Max Lamb, a quarterback 4-star gem. Does not hurt to get more of these guys in, despite the fact that we got 2 really good ones last year in Tyler Trejo and Keenan Beagle with star and elite development, respectively. One of my favorite names in the series, DJ Graves, is on the board. He is a 4-star gem edge rusher. We can, of course, move some of these guys around to D-tackle if needed. Does look like we're going to have a lot of edge rushers if we keep going this way in this class. A tight end in Nazir Hinish. He is 6'5", so he's got good size, he's got good hands, he's got good acceleration and great speed. 86 is fantastic for a tight end. That would be the fastest tight end we've had in the series. I think he would pair nicely in the future, hopefully, with Larry Vital. Then there's Dexter Burnett, a power back halfback. He has head first and the balance stability, as well as arm bar. These are all things that Max Cadet has. So he would be really our true Max Cadet replacement. And if you look at his height and weight, 6 foot 231. That is the exact height and weight of Max Cadet. And then the last guy we have points on right now is Bobby Broyles. He is a D tackle. He is a speed rusher. He's a little undersized, honestly, at only 6'1", but 285. He is a thick boy. He's got big time strength, high finesse. He's a speed rusher that is super strong, which is a cool combo. Excited to hopefully get him in. He's the number 8 D tackle in the country. And then I said that DJ Graves was one of my favorite names I've ever seen in recruiting. And that's because Dalton is my favorite name I've ever seen in recruiting. Dalton, an elusive back out of Miami, Florida. And I'll be honest, he's not a bad player by any means. 94 speed. We love a fast guy on the team. He's obviously not as good as the other halfbacks we have higher on the board, which is why he's currently not receiving any points from me. But we're still first on his big board, and it would be hilarious after Dalton Schmizniak graduates to replace him with the double Dalton. The double D's, oh my God, he already has a nickname. And then the last guy near the bottom of the board is David Rambo, another tackle. He has the agile tendency type, which I tend to prefer at least a little bit in my tackles since they're typically better at finesse blocking, though I imagine that his power blocking may not be the best. But he's pretty strong and he has good finesse block ratings. Currently no points in him as we're going very top heavy, trying to get all these 5 stars that we can. So now we will go ahead and advance to week number 2. See how teams around the league did in their first couple weeks of action, if any teams played in week 0. And somehow Max Cadet does not win even Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week, as now the matchup is number 1 UConn versus number 2 Georgia. Here is the current Heisman watch. Max Cadet not even on the list. Hopefully he can make his way there. The current favorite is Nick Angel, an elusive back for Duke. And if we look at the way too early conference standings in the Big 12, here is how everyone did in their first week. Texas Tech, one of the former top dogs in the conference, starts 0-1. Utah, Kansas State 1-0. North Texas up to the 19th ranked team in the country. They've been pretty good since joining the Big 12 a couple seasons ago. And this is the top 25. UConn currently ranked number 1 after beating UMass. Georgia dominates Clemson 42-7 in their season opener. The Buckeyes actually haven't played a game in week 0 or week 1, but they are 3rd. Top 5 rounded out by Oregon and Alabama, and then it's Utah, Nebraska, Kansas State, UNC, and Boston College to round out the top 10. And then I will scroll through to see the rest of the top 25, as Akron and Western Kentucky are in. Pittsburgh finds their way in, and Cal drops from 6th to 22nd after a loss. Florida losing a nail-biter to now number 10 Boston College, drops to 15th from 8th, and that's kind of the biggest movers. So in the next episode, it is the rematch versus the Bulldogs, who do not have the same quarterback returning. Last year, they, of course, had Callum Brink, who was one of the highest-rated quarterbacks in the country. This year, it's Trevor Dillard, a scrambler archetype. He's got good speed at 87, has a strong arm, and his short accuracy is pretty good, but not quite as good elsewhere. So they're a little weaker at quarterback than they were. Still have really good halfbacks. And my big concern is the wide receivers. Carl Stanford is now their number 1 guy. And with the speed on display here, we might have to make some changes at corner. And if you are curious, Tank Easy is officially starting for the Bulldogs. If you don't remember Tank Easy, he is probably the biggest recruit we've ever had snatched out from underneath us. He is an elite development edge rusher now in his redshirt junior season. He has just been riding the bench for Georgia, waiting for his opportunity, and now he has it. He'll be lined up against Manny Smith, 97 power moves for the Tank. That should be a super fun matchup, and I'll definitely keep an eye out for it in the next episode. So a narrow victory for UConn, and now they face off against Georgia in the national championship rematch. But that is going to do it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Shout out, as always, to the channel members. You guys are the reason I continue to make videos. If you want to become a channel member, you can do so by hitting the join button down below for as low as $1 per month. And if you find yourself coming back on the regular and you aren't already subscribed, go ahead and hit that sub button for me. It does help me out a lot. And I will see you guys in the next episode, where UConn looks to prove that the Natty was not a fluke by beating Georgia for a second time in Athens.